Hi folks, this is his dad. Welcome back. And in this part of our knife series that we're doing right now, these are what I consider bushcraft knives, or what other people consider bushcraft knives. Now folks, to be honest, I know nothing about them. We have some different bushcraft knives over here. We're going to look at those in the next video. But right now what I wanted to do was, I kind of liked the theme here where you could put a fire starter in there. These sit on your belt. They're not too big. They're not too small. And I wanted to show you what you could get on Amazon, with the exception of this one, which does go on Amazon every now and again, but that's not where I got it. So the reason I picked Amazon was because that's where most folks go for their things that they can get within 1 to 2 days. Okay, so say you're planning a camping trip and you can't find your bushcraft knife and you need to go to Amazon and you don't want to spend over $70. This is what you could find readily available right now, or at least this is what Amazon's pushing. Okay. All right, folks. So, with all honesty, I'm not a bushcrafter. I don't go out into the bush and I don't craft things with knives, and I have no idea what you're really going to need to be a bushcrafter. But if you are a bushcrafter, you do. Now, just hear me out. These aren't nice knives to some people. They're not great knives. Maybe you have a favorite company that you really like, or that you just have brand loyalty to. This might be offensive to you. So please just relax. This is just a normal guy who's got normal kids. Okay. Uh, I am his dad. That's where I get my name. Who's just trying to just fulfill some of that, summer boredom. And your kid wants to go camping, and your kid wants to go hang out by a lake or a river, and he wants to start a fire, and you know nothing about that stuff, and he says, Dad, don't use your lighter, figure it out, show me how to do it. Well, this is where this kind of crap comes into play. And what we're going to look at here is, believe it or not junk. Okay, so but these knives that we're going to look at right now, if you're a bushcrafter, will get the job done. Now, is it as nice as your two, three, $400 knife? I don't know. I'm not a bushcrafter. You take a look at what I've got to show you and you decide, okay? And let me know in the comments if you like this kind of thing. Let me know. This will be the last part of the bushcrafting leather wood handled ones. I'm not going back to do this one again. We're going to do one real quick. I'll show you the knives that we're going to do. It is your G10 or your micarta handles, along with the Kydex type sheath, okay? Kind that you can molly web into your backpack. Okay, so we'll look at that one next, and then we'll look at one more type of camping expedition type knife, which will be the big wackadoo, more like a machete, or yeah. So we'll look at that, and what you can get relatively cheap. Now, folks, remind yourself, the reason why I picked this video was I thought that these prices were stupid dirt cheap, and we're going to go over that real quick. Price versus product. We're going to take a look, and we're going to see what you get for under $75 in this video. Okay, so buckle up, boys and girls. This is going to be fun. Thank you. Let's take a look. All right, everybody. So this right here, that is the BPS Adventurer, and this is carbon steel with a leather sheath, and comes with a fire starter. Okay, so as per usual, okay, set that aside. Let's take a look at the sheath. Now, this comes between $37.99 and $54.99, depending on which you want. There's a black version and the brown version. I picked the black or the brown. It comes with, well, let's just leave that. Ain't coming out of there right away. Now on this sheath here, it's waterproofed. It's cow. It's nice. Um, Damn it, I don't know how to tell you this, but I only paid $37.99 for this. And if you had to buy this stupid thing right now, you're not getting it for under $39. You're not. Okay, now, folks, this is BPS. This is the Adventurer. They come out of the Ukraine, which is very popular right now due to the war effort. Lots of places are giving the Ukraine the bump up. And I'll tell you what, if they make this, and this isn't just a licensing agreement, where they throw their name on it, Very nice on you for being able to do it at that price. Now, I'd hate to say it, but I think some of the people in the factory are going home hungry, because I don't know how you're going to buy this and this for $37.99. Now, folks, let's take a look here. This is, like I said, carbon steel. Now, for all of you who know carbon, there's a hardness to it, okay? And that's what they're trying to achieve. This one here, this is a little softer. They went to 56 to 57 on the HRC scale. So that means it'll take a little bit more of a whacking before it chips and breaks. Once it chips, you're pretty, if it's too hard, you're stuck with it. If it's a little softer, you can work it out a little bit. This is a nice knife, folks. It's full tang. Let's see if I've got the specs on this one here. Yeah, it's totally 10 inches total. So it's 5 1/3 on the blade, and then 4 1/3 on the, 4 2/3 on the handle. And as you see there, those are nice wood scales screwed in there. Very nicely done, full tang. I don't know if there's a connection there. I can't really tell if that was welded out. If this is one piece and then this was one piece joined together. Because the brushing here is two different types of brushing, as you can see where it meets. So, I don't know. I'm going to say this is a full tang because they claim it to be full tang, and we'll call it that. Now, I have not seen any of these knives tortured or put under extreme amounts of pressure between the blade and the handle to see how long it takes to snap. I have not. This is a 4.5 out of 5 point star company for Amazon. They come highly recommended. In the hand, I don't feel any hot spots. And believe me, my hands hurt right now. As you can see, I've been doing a lot of work out in the garage. So anything that's going to hurt is going to stand out right now. It's pretty nice, folks. Even where the blade hits you, it's been worked down a little bit, deburred, cleaned up, so it doesn't hurt. And how does it fit in here? Very nice. Okay, so, wow, look at that stitching. It's just, God, when you have a nice quality product, you really do stand out. That is something else there. Okay, very nice. All right, so the next one we're going to look at is the big seller this year. It's the Bushmate 2.0. It's carbon steel also. It's 8.7 inches overall. Comes with a fire starter. Comes with the same, almost the exact same sheath, except for the exception of this part. So we'll just quickly go over that. Again, folks, I don't know how they're selling that. This one here goes out for $49.99. This is the revised version. They took everybody's things that they said they didn't like about that, which I have not come to any parts where I don't like it yet. And they decided to come up with this version here. At least that is the scuttlebutt around the water cooler that I got to learn from. Now, folks, unfortunately, when it comes to bushcrafting knives, I am simply a shitty Wikipedia, just blurting out facts that I have soaked up randomly, whether they were true or not. So, like I say, I'm just kind of a shitty Wikipedia. But for $49.99, I think this is a steal. Look at the attention to detail. That is sunken in. They're not going to catch your hand. No hot spots on this one either, folks. $49.99. Okay, so let's move along here. This is the HK4, also by BPS, the company that made these two. Very nice. This is a simpler version here. Now, this comes in Two different forms, carbon steel or 5CR 14 MOV. Both of them come at a 56 to 58 HRC. Again, a little softer, they found was better. This one here is the only one that comes with this right here, which I don't know. If you want to stick a lanyard on there, you can stick a lanyard on both of those. But they didn't want the lanyard to detract away from where your hand sits. So they stuck it out a little bit more. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you can use that for tampering with glass or tempered glass. I don't know. It's got some jimpling right there, jimping. That is very aggressive. Keeps your thumb in there, man. I'll tell you. Now, somebody help me out with this, because if you're going to tell me that that's what that's for, okay, I'll hear you. But it doesn't seem like I've ever seen one that small, or maybe it's not supposed to go in there. I don't know. But help me out, folks, because I see that all the time, and I always assume that was for your fire starter, but that just doesn't seem right, because that feels a little more accurate for a fire starter. Anyway, folks, like I said, when you choose your steel, this goes from $37.99 to $42.99. So we're talking about a $5 jump up to whatever 5CR 14 MOV. So if that matters to you so critically, we're talking $5. So apparently it doesn't matter that much to BPS. Now, for $5, I wonder, like, you have to have your purist out there who say 440 or D2 is just fine for me. I know how to grind my own blade. And I know that high carbon steel has little tiny material chunks that when you're filing, sometimes they flake out, which leads to chipping on the edge of your blade. And some people, they like that higher up steel so that they don't have that. But anyway, let's carry on, folks. Give me just a second here. This is the Regal Edge Brown Betty. This is our Amazon's cheapest. And the reason why I picked this one was because how familiar it looks to BPS's Adventurer. Now, we'll set that aside. And let's take a look here. Okay, so I was looking at the ad. I do believe it said this is cowhide. Okay, so I believe it. Very nicely waterproofed, double stitched in here, and that does appear to be nylon as I get closer to it. So stitched, oh wow, stitched and riveted in. Very nicely done, folks. Nice play, Regal Edge. Nice play. And that appears to be a snap. Yeah, okay. Nice play. Now, $27.99. You get CPM S30V with the 59 to 61 hardness on the HRC scale. This is 9 inches overall. And of all the blades so far, this is the heaviest and appears to be the thickest. My question to whether it was one piece or not is solved with yes. The scales are perfect. Countersunk screws. The lanyard will not be affected or will not affect your grip. This is, I don't know what CPM S30V really means. I can look it up, and they're going to say that, yes, it takes a great edge, and because of the hardness, it is hard, yet it is soft enough to not, lose pieces of material upon, chipping. If you glint it across another knife, will it shatter? No. But I got to tell you, for $27.99, so far it beats these. As far as in the hand and appearances of quality, this is it right there. Okay. Now, folks, these are 4 objects you can get on Amazon right now. I highly recommend all 4. just from appearances. I am not a backpacker. I'm not a fire starter. I'm not a woodsman. So I wanted to show this to you folks because this here is $25.29. This is Hung Fu. This is S30V steel, which, they're claiming it to be 61 on the HRC scale. Comes in at $25.29. They're saying that it is G10 on that handle that I just set down. We're going to look at this real quick. What do you get here? Apparently a fire starter goes in there. Wow. I'm not going to say this is waterproofed, so I would waterproof this if I was you. Go get some of that leather waterproof spray if it actually works. The rivets are solid. I've seen worse snaps. Comes with a D-ring to, if you need to attach something to it like that, you got your ability to, or you can belt it right there, which will make it ride high up on the hip compared to these, which will, so you can attach another leather ring to that, which they're available. I've seen that. So yeah, that's available to you. I would call this a $20 sheath because sheaths are really surprisingly expensive, and this, for whatever this is, it's not terrible. Just looks terrible. Now here let's go into here Hung Fu's knife. They call this G10. I can believe that. I could see material in there. I feel like they resined it so much that you're not going to ever get to the material, which kind of mutes the point. But it is what it is. It's not my Carta, which it's supposed to be kind of almost the same thing. And this is several hundred layers of material sandwiched together, as you're supposed to. Each one of those lines is supposed to represent another layer that was stripped away during shaping. But that's, and some people right now, that really matters in a handle. Let's take a look here. Stamped S30V. The grind, the lines are straight, which is shocking. It came oiled. That is a very thick spine, folks. Very thick, full tang spine. Now, we all know the S30V has a reputation of being able to stay sharp once sharpened and to be sort of easily sharpened as long as it's not hardened too hard, which this would be 61, which, it's the high end. Okay. All right, folks. So, as I said, so far we're kind of proving that you don't need a doctor's salary to afford some camping knives or bushcrafting knives, as they're well known as nowadays. And just to kind of put it out there, I liked the 2.0, so much that I bought two. I ran off like 2 days later. I didn't want the sale to end without me getting another one, so I bought another one. All right. So, folks, the takeaway in this video is not that just because you buy it off of Amazon, does that magically certify it with some umbrella of quality. It does not. Amazon sells anything just like any other website. It's just that, if you're a Prime member, you get it delivered to your house really quick. Yay. But the thing that I wanted to point out, though, is that, surprisingly enough, for $26, this is probably going to stand up. I'm going to do a camping trip here very shortly, and we're going to look at these knives, and we're going to try to start fires with some of them, and we're going to try and whittle down some kindling and do some batoning, and we're going to see how some of these knives stack up. And I'm going to be sad if they don't. But the reviews on the BPS knives were so good that I need to remind you again how I started out this career of mine on YouTube was knives that seemed too good to be true on Amazon. Do they show up? Do you get the same knife? Does the picture mislead you from what you actually get? Are you subtly surprised at the excellence of what you get? And in BPS's overall sight, sight and in hand, feels great, looks great. For the price, I'm blown away. Um, and then the Regal, oh my God, that's kind of a solid quality piece of knife right there. I have high expectations for that to work well in the field. So anyway, folks, if you like this kind of thing, again, stay tuned. I have 2 more videos coming. I really hope you enjoyed this. I hope I've done well for you. And like I said, folks, I'm not a bushcrafter. So please, in the comments, go lightly. I'm just making videos to show you what money gets you in hand. Now, practical, purposes, we'll see later. But anyway, folks, as for now, I love you and I'll see you in the next video. So be kind. Love you. Bye now.